Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. That's a legal definition. When the Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide. What horrible numbers. Something has to be done. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and to report back to me. And I mean, like, immediately. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. It's not only Nigeria, it's all over. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. This is not going to happen. The killing of Christians is not going to happen.
My people, how on a day? I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on where you listen to the sound of my voice. This is the Biafra Superstars Media. Fellow listeners all across the world, Superstars Media, I'm giving you my vow. I'm pledging that for the next 90 days, I will put my feet on the neck of Nigeria. I will support America. I will work with America to make sure that Nigeria will be put in the proper place because the terrorism is too much. We shall make sure that Islamization of Nigeria does not come into fruition, and that the Christians will get justice in Nigeria. Today as we speak, America is speaking, Canada is speaking, and today, even in faraway Australia, they are speaking about what is happening in Nigeria. And kudos to America, to Donald Trump, for doing what is right for the Christians in Nigeria. Without any much further ado, I want to present to you the perspective of Australia, because they want to claim, blame the Christians, blame the Igbos, blame the Biafrans. We are the ones that told lies about what is happening in Nigeria. But today, Australia is saying the world is starting to sit up and look at Christian mothers in Nigeria. The world starting to sit up and look at the Christian mother in Nigeria, the genocide of Christians in Nigeria. So if you are with me, I present to you the perspective from the Australian media. If you are ready, let's go there. Listen.
The persecution of Christians in Nigeria has reached crisis levels, with thousands of Christians being slaughtered. And US President Donald Trump is now instructing the Department of War for possible action. Joining me now is Bernard Tuchunji, National Director of the Aid to the Church in Need, Australia and New Zealand. Bernard, it's horrific to see and hear the reports out of Nigeria. Can you shed some light on what's happening there?
Yeah, thanks for the invitation, Rita. Nigeria is a country of 200 million people, basically half Christian, half Muslim. And for 15 or so years now, this sort of situation has gone on. We've got a story from June this year. 200 Christians who had been displaced already were sleeping in a church. They were locked in that church where they slept. The church was set ablaze, and those who tried to escape were either massacred or shot or macheted as they left. So there's a real situation for people. These are not uncommon stories, but then you've got situations of just discrimination. Can't get a job, can't get into politics, can't buy land for the Christian churches. So this is not a situation that's new. It's been going on, and I think maybe the world's starting to sit up and have a look.
Well, some of the footage coming out of that country is just horrific. We can't even play it. I can't even describe some of it. Yeah. It is that shocking.
Are you hearing that? This coming from Australia, not the Biafrans, because they want to blame us. They say the Biafrans, we are pushing a false narrative. But even in Australia, seeing the footage, it said it is unbearable. It's something they can't even show on TV. The horrific way they kill us in Nigeria, They do it so that those who are alive to see their loved ones die, they will run away and abscond from their villages, their communities, and vow never to come back. They find themselves in a so-called IDP camp, which is an internal displaced people's camp created by the government. But on the other hand, the terrorists and their families from the Sahel takes over their communities and villages and rename their villages into Islamic names. How can terrorists have the right to rename a village, a community, a town? That shows you that they are in bed with Nigerian government. They are working together. So let's continue. Take it back and listen. Please, listen.
It's been going on, and I think maybe the world's starting to sit up and have a look.
Well, some of the footage coming out of that country is just horrific. We can't even play it. I can't even describe some of it. Yeah. It is that shocking. And President Donald Trump has announced the US will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria if its government continues to allow the killing of Christians.
Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. This is not going to happen. The killing of Christians is not going to happen.
That was the president earlier today, and overnight the New York Times reported that the military has started drawing up some plans to quell the violence. It's a very difficult situation because airstrikes are possibly not feasible. What is the best help that the United States can provide in this current situation?
I have to say that I think even President Trump coming out and saying something has already been immensely helpful, because people are speaking about, they're hearing about, they're debating the question, what's going on there. And, you know, we hope for just leaders who do good things. And I think it's good that someone's coming out and just saying something who's got a very large microphone to straight up. That's a benefit. Whether or not we go in is a whole other question, but this is moving things in a good direction.
Please, we need boots on the ground. That's the only way to quell this problem. There is no way you can discuss with the government of Nigeria. They are a criminal enterprise. Just yesterday, we are hearing that China has given this new president $1.3 billion for mineral resources. There's the problem. Even the people are still going through abject poverty. The criminals in Nigeria, the way they get this land is to make sure they come with Islamification, a process to Islamize the people. So please, we need boots on the ground. If not, then let America support us, the Biafrans. We have the men, we have the manpower, we have the capacity to deal with those dirty-looking ragtag terrorists in Nigeria. We can do it. The Biafrans can do it. But unfortunately, Nigerian government and their military and their media, they come with, they collude and they come with a tribalist way of agenda to say we, the Biafrans, are the problem. But today we are glad America has seen that Biafrans are just peaceful lovers. We are the ones to solve the problem. We saw this happening way back. Hence, we said we wanted out of Nigeria because we don't want to be Islamized in Nigeria. So please, we need boots on the ground. America, we need boots on the ground. You can do it, or you can empower the Biafrans to go out there to save lives. We can save the lives of the Christians. We ain't scared of those terrorists. We ain't scared of them. We will go to their camp and we shall fish them out. We ain't scared of them. But the Nigerian government will never allow us to do it because they love the terrorists. They call the terrorists their freedom fighter. The Islamic sheikhs call the terrorists their freedom fighters. They have warned the government of Nigeria never to touch them or harm them. Instead, they are doing peace deals with terrorists. They've come with a new policy known as the cheese policy, where they feed them, they fund them, and they pay them monthly wages and salaries. The cheese policies, they feed the terrorists, they fund the terrorists, and they pay them every month. Think about that. This is going on in Nigeria as we speak. Their so-called kinetic approach. Lord have mercy. So let's continue, please. Listen.
And you said the population there is almost 50-50 Christian, Muslim. Why are the Christians so persecuted? Why don't they have the protection, the power? How are they being not only discriminated against, but in some cases slaughtered?
Yeah,
I will tell you, first of all, before the gentleman speaks, that yes, it is 50-50, but also at the same time, there is tribalism happening in Nigeria. Tribalism is worse than racism. I repeat, tribalism is worse than racism. In tribalism, those that look like you, those that have your skin tone, those that speak like you will assume they are your friends, they are your relatives, not knowing that behind they are the ones sabotaging you. In the 80s, when the Catholic Church and Church of England was paramount in Nigeria, the Islamic government then, under the military rule of President Babangida, he made sure some Islamic young clerics converted into Christianity. And what they did was they were funded by the Nigerian military government to open pseudo churches, pretending to be pastors, but in a way to control the influx and the spread of Catholicism and the Church of England, which is known as the Anglican Church. They came with a new church known as the Pentecostal Church or the Protestant Church. These churches were run by Islamic clerics that pretended to have been born again and became Christians. That was a way they were able to, eat into the fabrics of Christianity in Nigeria. So in most cases, the so-called who and who, the top 5 pastors in Nigeria, they are once converts. They are Muslim who converted to Christian. So they are playing to the gallery. They're not really Christians. They are criminals. They work with the government to Islamize Nigeria, but they are controlling the masses, the religious masses who are Christians. They say nothing when this is happening. They say nothing to the genocide, but when it comes to politics, they tell their church members to vote for the Islamic government. Tribalism is worse than racism. So it is a complex situation. Nigeria is not supposed to be one. Nigeria cannot be one as a country. You guys see the skin, you think, oh, we are all black people, we are the same. I am saying, no, we are not the same. Tribalism is worse than racism. Nigeria is like a combination of Russia, France, Finland, Germany, and England. Make them one country. It will never work in the next 2 million years. To the outsiders, we might see white people in the same country, but we know ideologically they are different. The same thing is happening in Nigeria. There is tribalism in Nigeria. Nigeria will never work. Nigeria cannot work as a country. They must break up that contraption called Nigeria. Britain made the biggest mistakes when they assume that because we are all black, it means we are the same people. We are not the same. Tribalism is worse than racism. So please, America, hurry to the aid of the Christians. Hurry to the aid of the Biafrans. We, the Biafrans, we are largely Christians. Please, we beg of thee to hurry to the aid of the Christians. Now, let's take the response from this gentleman. Listen.
Don't they have the protection, the power? How are they being not only discriminated against, but in some cases slaughtered?
Yeah, it's a good question. This is not like Pakistan, where you've got a tiny minority of Christians. It's half-half. Until 2023, only 2 years ago, politicians ran on a Christian-Muslim ticket. 2023, there was a Muslim ticket that went up. So we've got basically all areas of political and military governance is now governed by Muslims. We have Sharia law in 12 of 36 states from the year 2000. So it's starting to feel to the Christians like, well, this isn't really, we're not really welcome in our home. At the worst level, you've got these sort of massacres. At the general day-to-day level, you've got really, are we welcome here to get a job? Christian children, women have to wear the hijab right through that. Their female schooling, Christian catechists can't be in school, Islamic catechists can. So there's not an equality of person. And
God bless this man. He knows his stuff. He knows his onion. He knows what he's talking about. That's exactly what is happening in Nigeria, to speak. Even in Christian schools now, they are forced to wear the hijab. Christians are being made to be second-class citizens in Nigeria. The process, I've explained it over and over again. The end goal is Islamization, but the process is known as Islamification, where your way of life, the way you dress, the way you look, the way you carry out your day-to-day activities, even the food, what you dress up in, the way you control yourself, your mannerism, will have the tenets of Islam. As we speak, 99.99% of the meat in Nigeria is now halal. As we speak, if you do any form of blasphemy, if you pass your exams and you thank on Jesus, to them it is blasphemy. They will stone you to death and they will burn you at the end. As we speak, Nigeria cannot conform as a country because the rulers of Nigeria, now they have to go to the north where the Muslims are, where the sheikhs are. They have to go and prostrate, bow down and swear an oath with the Quran to uphold the tenets of Allah in the whole country. This is what is happening. For you to be a governor, you must go down to the north to speak to the imams, to speak to the rulers of Nigeria, who are the Islamic jihadists. They control Nigeria. Britain once told them they were born to rule. Hence, till this day, they are carrying out those activities in Nigeria. Nigeria is gone. Nigeria is a false contraption known as a country. It is not a country. It is a contraption. Nigeria is gone. Please, America, hurry to the aid of the Christians. Only America can do this. We have gone to ICC. They said nothing. We went to AU. We were sabotaged. Even the EU, those of us who went to EU to table this matter 10 years ago, they said nothing about it. Only America, only God's country has stood up for the Christians in Nigeria. Hence we say, may God bless Nigeria, or may God bless America and the Christians of Nigeria. Let's continue. Listen, please, listen.
Are we welcome here to get a job? Christian children, women have to wear the hijab right throughout their female schooling. Christian catechists can't be in school. Islamic catechists can. So there's not an equality of person. And the Nigerians are feeling that.
Oh, absolutely. Now, international watchdog group Open Doors has reported nearly 70% of Christians killed for their faith last year were in Nigeria. Groups like Boko Haram, Islamic State and West Africa Province and Fulani militants are blamed for most of these attacks, targeting Christians, often farmers. Rights group estimate that there are between 4,000 and 8,000 Christian deaths annually, murders annually. And we've got the Nigerian president refusing to address this violence. He said that the characterization of Nigeria as religiously intolerant does not reflect our national reality, nor does it take into consideration the consistent and sincere efforts of the government to safeguard freedom of religion and beliefs for all Nigerians. What's your response to that? Because there has been so many world leaders really declining to tackle this issue. We've got Donald Trump now coming forward and putting it on the agenda. But where has the UN been? Where has the Pope been? Where has been the international attention on this issue?
No one seems to want to put their finger in it. For whatever reason, it's very complex. It's not just simply Christians and Muslims. There's a whole raft of things. But you're talking now 60 to 100,000 people that have died in the last decade. That's not just farmers fighting over land. There's something deeper there.
Yes.
I mean, the president came out. He said what he said. It's a political response. They do have religious protections in their constitution, but it's not the experience on the ground. So you can say what you want. But the Christians are standing in the graves of their loved ones, begging for help, and no one's really listening. So I think the president really needs to listen to his people. And really, I mean, there's not an election for 2 years, but there needs to be a bit more of a recurrence to the Christians and allowance for the Christians to live their life.
The president is not listening to no one. He has made himself king in Nigeria. As we speak, he also said it. He was the first to come with a Muslim ticket. He went against the grain. Normally, it is Muslim president and a Christian vice, or a Christian president and a Muslim vice. But under the same man, he came with a Muslim ticket, where the Muslim man is the president and the Muslim man is the vice president in a so-called secular country. Now they are showboating. Now they are showing off because they know that they have finally destroyed the Christians in Nigeria. They have been subjugated, especially with the Biafrans. Now, even though we have all the resources in Nigeria, we control none. As we speak, China gave out in the year 2023, October 2023, $1.3 billion for the mining resources in Nigeria from Biafra land. This president took the money, ate the money, stole the money, and nothing was done about it. There was no account about such money. We only found out when China came out now and saying, oh, that they need to protect their own assets. They need to protect their own interests in Nigeria because now they have a mining contract. Hence, they are saying America cannot come to Nigeria. We only found out that China gave Nigeria $1.3 billion in the month of October 2023. So that's the problem. This man there, he's a criminal, he's a charlatan, he's in fact, he's one of the most wanted men in America. He's a criminal. A drug baron. What do you expect of a drug baron being a president? Only in Nigeria can shit like that happen. Somebody who has killed people's life. Do you know the effect of drugs in a family? I've seen drugs destroy families, husband, wives committing suicide because of drugs, heroin and the rest of them. I've seen it happening in my community over and over again here in the Western world. And this man who was wanted by the FBI, he ran away from Nigeria, from the USA, came to Nigeria, and now he's the president of Nigeria. What do you expect? What else could you expect than criminality at the highest level? What else do you expect? A thief will always be a thief. A criminal will always have the antics of a criminal. But let's continue. Listen.
And no one's really listening. So I think the president really needs to listen to his people. And really, I mean, there's not an election for 2 years, but there needs to be a bit more of a recurrence to the Christians, an allowance for the Christians to live their life. Otherwise, they're really going to feel like they've got nowhere to go, which is really how they feel now.
And we've seen that experience in so many parts of the Middle East already, where the Christian population has plummeted. Decimated, absolutely. Now, your organisation has launched an emergency appeal for Christians in Nigeria. Can you tell me about where those donated funds will go?
Yeah, sure. Aid to Church in Need has been around about 80 years. We've been working in Nigeria for decades now. But as of this moment, a couple of key things we're trying to do, which are worth mentioning, which we don't usually do, is really security for priests, religious leaders. Like, we're putting up fences around seminaries and around convents. We're keeping buying enclosed vehicles for priests so they can get out to their people, because on bikes and bicycles, they're really at risk of attack. The second one, we've got 2 to 3 million people living in IDP camps, internally displaced people now. Most of them don't even have sleeping mats, so all that comes with that, not being able to sleep, not the bugs, the infections.
Yes.
So we're trying to sort of work with those people, bring them material aid, but also we're a pastoral foundation, bring them material aid, give them pastoral support, give them really hope in their situation. These are people of great hope.
It's incredible, and I think so many of our viewers will want to back this, because people are just being so shocked and heartbroken by the plight.
It's very, very sad, madam. It's very, very sad. Just to add into the IDP camp that this gentleman spoke about, as we say, it is more than 2.5 million people now. Close to 7 million people are in IDP camp, because every day more than 20 communities have been taken by this terrorist. Christian communities that are owned by Christians. People who live in those areas, they're Christians, but when they come and do what they do, the Christians will have to abscond. Once you've seen your relatives killed, families killed, the rest of them run away from their community. So it's a big problem now. And because the Nigerian government, they intend to hide what is happening. So what they did, instead of having refugees that the whole world will see, what they want to do is keep them in-house. So they create a small ITP camp, a dirty, shanking, unbelievable area, a shanty area that even your enemy won't even be advised to stay in a place like that. Bacha areas without bed or mats. They piss and urinate in the same place. Sickness and disease. Christians being killed in IDP camps, while the terrorists that did the killing, that chased them away, they are now given the opportunity to go out there, sometimes out of the country, to bring in their family, to resettle in those Christian communities. Terrorists, Islamic jihadists go out into the Sahel from Mali, Mauritania, you name it. They bring in their relatives to come and live in those communities. And guess what? Within a month, they changed the name of those communities into Muslim names, Islamic names. Where is that done? You ask yourself, how can terrorists without proper ID, without documentation, how do they have the leverage to change the name of a community, of a village? How is it possible? How did they communicate with the local government of those areas? It's because the Nigerian government are in bed with them. This is the blueprint of the Nigerian government to slowly, steadily fade away the Christians, chase them into IDP camps. Now they become a beast of burden, a beast of no nation. They have no more identity because their ancestral home has been taken off them. And before you know it, the demographic would change in Nigeria. Suddenly, everywhere you look, you are seeing Muslim enclaves. You are seeing communities run by Muslims. And suddenly and slowly, Nigeria becomes an Islamic country, while the real Christians will be left as fugitives in IDP camps. They are never going to go back to their communities because they have no more communities to go back to. Their communities are now being, occupied, oh my God, have mercy, by the Islamic jihadists that did the killing. Where is the police? Where is the army to go and catch those guys? They do nothing about it. Instead, they fund them. They came with the cheese approach, which is funding, feeding, and monthly payment. There is a benefit system now in Nigeria that only the terrorists and their children enjoy in Nigeria. The citizens of Nigeria have no benefit system, but the terrorists, they have the cheese approach policy, where they feed them, they fund them, and they pay them monthly. Lord have mercy. That's Nigeria for you. Nigeria is officially on paper an Islamic country. Only Donald Trump, only America can stop this nonsense. So we are calling on America to please hurry to the aid of the Christians, hurry to the aid of the Biafrans. We are the ones that will stop this nonsense. In God we trust, in America we trust, and in Trump we trust. Thank you. May God bless you. And definitely, may God bless all the Christians. Stay strong. Your prayer has been answered. We have prayed for 16 years. We have cried and died and fasted and prayed and begged God. God in heaven, we have called on your name for the past 16 years. And today, you have responded. Through America, God's own country, the city of angels, in God we trust. America, thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We can't wait. We can't wait. In the next 60 days, in the next 90 days, things will happen. The Nigeria we see today, we shall see no more. There will be Christianity in Nigeria. They can't destroy us. They can't destroy us. Thank you, America. May God bless you. May God bless the Christians, and may God bless Biafra. Thank you, and God bless you.
Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits that kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
Yeah, check me out. Superstars Media. Lord Lugard, Bloomington, Lord Lugard, and it's wild Flora show. 1914 amalgamation is what we dying for. 3 nations to 1 nation. Ever since annihilation, nepotism is nonsense. You and you, clap your hands. Biafra gonna come, clap your hands. Biafra, Oduduwa, we're free now. Freedom is gonna come, we're free now. Yeah.